Hi everyone! I'm walking through the woods and it's a beautiful day. I woke up this morning and I was so happy to have a husband to cuddle into and to laugh with. And our cats jumped on our bed and everything was lovely. But I was thinking about growing up, all of the different people I've had crushes on or been in relationships with. My relationship history is pretty short. I haven't dated many people, although I've had lots of crushes on a lot of people. I thought I would tell you all about the boyfriends that I've had growing up all the way into meeting my husband. So, the earliest memory I have of a boyfriend is when I was 10. I think I was 10. And I played football with this boy at recess. It wasn't anything formal or organized, but I played football and I always stole his hat. I always stole his hat and wore it around. And we were dating. We were dating. But we never kissed. We never did anything. It was just an elementary school crush, really. I think we dated for maybe a month or two. I don't really remember who ended the relationship. It wasn't that serious. And then I think a couple of years later, when I was 12, probably around 12. No, I was still younger. I was 10 or 11, so maybe the same year. I was 10 or 11 and I dated another guy. We met at school and we were in the same class and we would always play frisbee. We would play frisbee and we would play like bad guys. Like we would pretend to, like there were good guys and there were bad guys, and we would pretend to rob each other, or we would invent games and we would play them at the park. And I also would go to this place called a community center, and we would play a game called Rock Band. And Rock Band is a game, it's a video game where you play guitar, drums, and then there's a singer. And I was always the singer because I was the best at singing, but I wanted to play guitar. And anyways, yeah, it was more of a friendship than dating, but we put a label on it and we said we were dating, and we carved our names into a tree. We used a knife to take off the bark of a tree, and we carved our names into the tree in the shape of a heart. I wonder if it's still there. That's so funny. And then I had to move. My family was moving, and so the relationship ended. Technically, I am still dating that boy. We never really ended our relationship. I just moved. And so then I moved, and the next boyfriend I had when I was 13. I would say this is like my first real boyfriend. The other two were just, you know, they were just boys that I liked when I was little, but they weren't real boyfriends. So when I was 13, I had my first real boyfriend, and I liked him for about 3 months. He had blonde hair, and he was on the basketball team, and he owned a ranch. His family owned a ranch, so we would ride four-wheelers. We would ride ATVs. They're a type of vehicle that you can ride for fun, and we would ride them together. They're kind of like motorcycles, but with 4 wheels. And the relationship was fun. I had my first kiss with this boy. We kissed in the locker room. In schools here, there are rooms with lockers. Lockers are where you can store your belongings while you're at school. So you can store your books, your pencils, your backpack in the locker. And so one day he came into the locker room and we had our first kiss. It lasted maybe a second or two, and it wasn't that memorable. And eventually I didn't really like him that much anymore. Because, I don't know, him and I just didn't match very well. But I didn't want to break up with him. I didn't want to end the relationship because I didn't want to hurt his feelings. And so I only liked him for maybe 3 months, but I dated him. I went out with him for 11 months. And finally, one day, he broke up with me. He told me that he wanted to end our relationship. He broke up with me after 11 months at a football game. And I remember I was crying, and everyone thought it was because I was sad, but it was happy tears. I was happy because I felt so relieved. I was young. Now, obviously, I would have just broken up with him. My next boyfriend was when I was in 9th grade. I was 15, and this guy was a great guy. He still is a great guy. What's funny is he actually looks kind of similar to my husband now. But he was a great boyfriend to me. I met him through an agricultural club at our school, and we had a lot of adventures together. I went to prom with him. Prom is a type of dance at our school. It's a formal dance here, and it usually happens in the spring. And I went to prom, and I wore a dress, and we took pictures and danced, and we went and watched movies after at my friend's house. And we danced a lot together, and we would always go on trips for our agricultural club. And one time, we walked around the entire airport together because we had an 8-hour layover, and we walked around the whole airport. And he bought me a hat that was shaped like a monkey, and I loved that hat. And he was a great boyfriend. He was 4 years older than me, and he wanted to go into the military. And so over the summer, he went into the military. He went into the training for the military, and I wrote him letters. And yeah, he was great. But when we got back to school, it was his last year of high school. And I knew that I still had 3 more years. of high school, and I just knew that the situation wasn't going to work. And so I broke up with him, and I felt really sad. I knew I had to break up with him, but I didn't want to. But I did. And I remember he was sad too, but I think we both knew that it just wasn't going to work with the age difference and our different life directions. And now he's married and he has some kids, and I still talk to him. Yeah, great guy. I don't know why you would be watching this, but if you are, you know who you are, and you were a great boyfriend to me. Thank you. Yeah, and then I went to college. I'm skipping over a lot of crushes that I had, people that I liked, but that I never pursued a relationship with, or they never pursued a relationship with me. But when I got to college, I met my now husband. I met him when I was 18, and at first we were just friends. And we hung out a lot together, but I never thought that I would end up marrying him. I never thought that I even liked him in a romantic way. But one day that changed, and we decided that we would start dating each other. It was January. It was the last day in January, and I was 18. It was about 2 weeks before my 19th birthday, and we started dating each other. We went sledding. There was snow, and we used sleds to sled down the hill in the snow. And after, we went to his dorm room. We went to his room, and we snuggled under the blankets to warm up. And he asked me to be his girlfriend, and I said yes. And we've been together ever since. And we dated for 2 years, and then he proposed to me. He proposed, and I said yes. We were engaged. For a year, and then we got married. And we've been married for 8 years. I got married when I was 21, and now I'm 29, so we've been married for 8 years. And yeah, that is a little bit about my dating history and all of the different boyfriends that I've had. I hope that you enjoyed this video. Hope you enjoyed listening and that you learned something. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye!